Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to request you to kindly take your seats, and if you can hear my voice out one more time, a quick request. I'd like to ask you to put your cell phones on silent and take your seats. We will begin shortly. Thank you. distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we'll begin in the next 10 minutes. If I could kindly request you to take your seats and put your cell phones on silent. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, one more time a small announcement. I'd like to request you to kindly take your seats. We'll begin in the next 5 minutes. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll begin in the next 30 seconds. Thank you very much, and I'd like to request you to kindly take your seats. Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, if you could kindly rise up for our national anthem.
समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि। ग्रन्थगीताय ग्रन्थगेयाय ग्रन्थान्तरात्मने गीतलीनाय गीताश्रयाय गीतवाद्यपटवे गेयचरिताय गायकवराय गन्धर्वप्रियकृते गौरिप्रणयाय गौरिप्रवणाय गौरभावाय धीमहि गोसहस्राय गोवर्धनाय गोपगोपाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि
That was a beautiful performance by the Peace Culture Group, Ganesh Vandana. The Right Honorable Prime Minister of Nepal, delegates from around the world, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sanjay Silwal Gupta. I will be giving you company today as well as tomorrow, right here at Women's Leadership Summit, Empowered for Change. Welcome. Throughout these 2 days, I'll be giving you company as well as sharing a lot. For now, let's begin. It is my pleasure to invite on stage for the welcome remarks, President of Confederation of Nepalese Industries, Vishnu Agrawal.
Thank you, Sanjay. Right Honorable Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachanda Ji, President Emeritus of CNI and Member of Parliament Honorable Dr. Binod Chaudhary, Honorable Parliamentarians, Guest of Honor former Union Minister of India Shri Suresh Prabhu Ji, Special Invitee Dr. Jaina Jalad Ji, Secretaries of Government, Chair of CNI Women Leadership Forum, Mrs. Chaya Sharma, Resident Representative of ADB, Mr. Arnaud, Excellencies, colleagues, distinguished guests. Today, standing on the dais of Women Leadership Summit 2023 here is one of my finest hours of my tenure as President of CNI. It gives me an immense sense of purpose and satisfaction that we are collected here today to address a very significant issue, advancing women's leadership in politics, business, government, and society. The Women's Leadership Summit is a valuable opportunity for us to exchange ideas on strengthening women leadership. The initiative behind this platform is fueled by a shared commitment to placing gender equality at the forefront of the multinational arena, not only as a matter of human rights, but also because it is critical to achieving the sustainable development goals of Nepal. I would also like to thank Right Honorable Prime Minister for your role in advancing women's participation in all walks of life. We would like to thank you for your role for incorporating 33% reservation for women in Parliament. We would also like to appreciate your exemplary contribution for empowering women throughout your political career. At CNI, while we do have a shared commitment to working towards gender equality within the organization in our individual companies and businesses, I must confess we have a lot more to do. I also confess that there are many times that gender parity has not been mainstreamed. It is, however, not because we do not wish to do it. It is the culture that needs to be nurtured more consciously. At this stage, I will also like to thank CNI's Women Leadership Forum, the organizer of this summit, for their relentless efforts in fostering women leadership in corporate workforce, upscaling the women entrepreneurship through access to finance, trainings, and providing exposure to various new technological advancements to everybody. Today, directly and through their affiliated organizations, they are reaching to more than 10,000 women entrepreneurs in Nepal. I would like to appeal all the women entrepreneurs and leaders to participate in this movement. I also like to thank Mrs. Chaya Sharma, chair of WLF, and their team for such an impactful initiative. Women are hurt every day in every corner of our country. Many of them hold neither the power nor the office to speak up. I recall in my earlier years that women had very little authority in home. They were not even asked what they wanted, what were their needs, what were their aspirations, and what they really like. However, they had always been the pillars of the family. I can see the change now. The values remain same, but now women need to play multiple roles. In my family, my wife has been my greatest support. I recognize all the little sacrifices she makes for me and my family, even as she fosters her dreams. I can feel the challenges that modern women have to go through hardship at workforce, and simultaneously, they have to take care of family and children also. From this platform, I salute your spirit and contribution. All the efforts that go into creating an equal world requires the active participation of men. More men need to participate and champion gender equality and equal rights. Men need to free themselves from patriarchy and allow the best person to lead at work and at home. Equality at work begins with equality at home. As a father of 2 daughters now, I want, perhaps a little selfishly, a world that is truly equal for my daughters and for millions of little girls and young women across the world who have the potential to lead in various fields. In recent years, I'm happy to see the rise of women leaders across the multilateral spaces. I'm especially happy to see the rise of women's leadership in politics, social work, and corporate world. I know their journey isn't easy. I know that they have had to work hard much more than their male counterparts. I also know they have had to make multiple sacrifices along the way. There are many examples of women leadership where they have taken leadership roles and have done wonders. Indira Nooyi, she served as the CEO of PepsiCo from 2006 to 2018 when she implemented this strategy and shifted the product portfolios of the company towards healthier options, and the company was recognized as one of the world's most ethical company. This was during her tenure. Honorable Jacinda Ardern, former Prime Minister of New Zealand, who had set an example to the world in effectively handling of pandemic in her country. Ardern leadership during COVID-19 crisis demonstrated the importance of clear communication, effective crisis management, and sensitivity to the challenges faced by individuals and community. Why go far? Our own Ms. Ambika Shrestha, tourism entrepreneur of Nepal and president of Dwarika Hotels and Resorts. In spite of all regional challenges, she has been able to establish Dwarika Hotel and Resorts as one of the most premium and luxury brand in world. Women don't have to prove again and again, but have to be provided with equal opportunity. Nepal has certainly made commendable progress in the field of women participation. 33% reservation in government jobs, eligibility and equal share of male and female in inheritances, participation of women in parliament and leadership positions. Nepal has created a legal framework that supports women entrepreneurship and have come up with anti-discriminatory laws. In order to improve the access to finance for women, Central Bank of Nepal has made special provision to provide subsidized loan up to rupees 20 lakhs to women entrepreneurs without any collateral and at a subsidized rate. However, the percentage utilization is less than 2% of total loan portfolio. The challenge remains in proper information to women leadership and cumbersome process to approve such loans. For women empowerment, the problems are not in legality, but implementation. There is a huge gap in communication and real efforts to uplift the capability of women and provide them with opportunities that they deserve are the most important thing. I would like to applaud CNI Women Leadership Forum for their effort towards achieving it. At CNI, we are working hard to achieve gender parity. The establishment of Women Leadership Forum is a step in that direction, and I can already envision a day not too far away when CNI will have a president who is a woman. As experts and champions come together in a two-day summit to network and build solutions, I wish you all very best and look forward to learning and finding new ways to bridge the gender gaps. Let this summit be a platform to celebrate achievements of women. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Vishnu sir. For now, I'd like to go ahead and request Chair, Women Leadership Forum, Chaya Sharma ma'am, along with Vishnu Agrawal sir, as well as I'd like to request Honorable Member of Parliament, Chairman Emeritus CNI Binod Chaudhary sir, as well as I'd also like to go ahead and request Honorable Suresh Prabhu, former Minister of Railways, Government of India, to accompany the Right Honorable Prime Minister of Nepal, Pushpa Kamal Dahal, to kindly light the panas and officially inaugurate as well as start the Women Leadership Summit 2023. Thank you so much, ma'am, gentlemen. I'd like to divert your attention towards our screen. We'd like to go ahead and show a video. This is called What It Takes to Lead.
Women leaders have been widely praised for their response to the coronavirus, slashing infection rates while keeping the public on side.
A woman who is able to negotiate, to compromise, to find alternatives is an example of strength.
Porque las mujeres salimos a defender, porque las mujeres queremos que nuestros hijos que vivan bien y las mujeres luchamos.
All of us are put in boxes by our family, by our society, our moment in history, even our own bodies. Some people have the courage to break free.
The purpose of this sort of abuse really is to try and silence us. And, you know, I don't want them to succeed, which is why I carry on speaking out.
A system of justice will be the richer for diversity of background and experience. It will be the poorer if all of its members are cast from the same mold.
Women are now calling for a leapfrog to 50% representation or parity in all spheres, including cabinets, corporate boards, throughout the economy.
Dream with ambition, lead with conviction, and see yourselves in a way that others may not, simply because they've never seen it before.
We would like to thank UN Women for creating such a fantastic video, as well as it's such a pleasure to be a part of this event today. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Moving forward, it's my pleasure to invite up on the dais Chair of Women Leadership Forum, Chaya Sharma.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः. The feminine, which is present in all existence, I bow down to you in complete surrender and total humility. Chief guest, Right Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachanda Ji, Chairperson of Confederation of Nepalese Industries, Mr. Vishnu Agrawal Ji, President Emeritus, Honorable Binod Chaudhary Ji, former Minister for Railways, Government of India, Honorable Suresh Prabhu, dignitaries of Government of Nepal, dignitaries of Nepal Women Commission, former MPs and sitting MPs, Dr. Zinna Jalad, keynote speaker, Country Director, Asian Development Bank, Arnav Kushwa, dignitaries from World Bank, USAID, members of the Governing Council of CNI, National Council, and OB members, and Coordinating Vice President of Women Leadership Forum CNI, Nirvan Chaudhary, international guests from various countries, media, presidents, CEOs of various associations, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste and a very good morning. A woman is a full circle. Within her is the power to create, nurture, and transform. Harvard Business Review interviewed 64,000 people across the globe to find out what modern leadership characteristics were most wanted. 8 out of the 10 characteristics were attributed to being feminine: patient, open, warm, expressive, responsible, inclusive. For the very first time, CNI's Women Leadership Forum is holding the Women's Leadership Summit 23 to address, deliberate, and find solutions to 3 key areas of leadership in the aftermath of COVID-19 pandemic. The Women Leadership Forum was established in 2021 as a platform to inspire greater participation of women in the corporate sector, workforce, and the national economy. We are holding the first Women Leadership Summit 23, which aims to become a flagship event for CNI and Nepal with national and international participation. WLF Nepal is driven by the vision where women enjoy full rights and equal participation in the corporate sector, workforce, and the economy, keeping the core of the SDG goals. Thank you all for joining us at the Women Leadership Summit. Your participation counts for change. The summit is built around the theme leadership with the intention of active and interactive learning, as a summit is a celebration of knowledge. I sincerely wish that this summit will be a great success, not only as an opportunity to share knowledge and experiences, but also as a beginning of a long and fruitful cooperation for meaningful and worthwhile tasks for way forward. It is my pleasure and honor to welcome each one of you to the Women Leadership Summit 23, Empowered for Change. This will be our inaugural summit, no doubt, starting as an idea with a fairly small group, which will grow in the years to come. The Leadership Summit 23 will motivate and inspire women entrepreneurs to make their mark in the post-pandemic era and build their dreams together towards their journey to success. The summit will bring together some of the most inspiring female and male leaders who are change-driven and growth-minded from across a wide range of sectors in an engaging, interactive series of sessions where they will share their experiences, learnings, and insights on a wide range of subjects. The Women's Leadership Summit features topics to empower women in their professional development, to learn new skills and strategies to achieve success. The summit will also give real-time inspiration, knowledge, and tools to face the challenges of the future in the post-pandemic times. WLS 23 is also a connector for networking and facilitating collaboration that can bring about more positive change. It's about connecting multiple generations, people next to you, and seeing what these networks can bring. The event will highlight the most effective strategy and talk about developing pillars of support, which will empower women. The event will have a crystal clear findings regarding the pillars of success for women in their relevant field. Finally, the event will come out with a toolkit for success in the form of a declaration. We hope that the declaration will serve as a call to action to leaders to embed gender parity as a central goal of our policies and practices to manage the post-pandemic recovery to the benefit of our economies and societies. We as women, in many ways, are the wealth ourselves, potentials waiting to be untapped. Across the world, women have risen to positions of prominence and power, made it possible to impact on generations to come. They know what it is like to push boundaries, excelling in their professions, while also raising families, holding back turmoil and tears, and holding themselves with nothing but grit and determination. Brick by brick, setback after setback, they have built strong foundations for other women to emulate and follow. They broke rules and barriers in rising to the top, working against the odds, swimming against the tide. Increased opportunity, access to education, and growing realization that hiring women means good business economics and social sense, having led to more of us being incorporated in the global economy and being more financially independent than ever before. However, in Nepal, much needs to be done, especially in improving our fortune and bringing our wealth in par with our male counterparts. Women are bearing the brunt of economic shocks emanating from the COVID-19 crisis. Various data have shown that women are twice as likely to lose their jobs as a result, and female-led SMEs are more likely to close compared to their male counterparts. The gendered impact of COVID-19 crisis continues to manifest itself. The disproportionate impact on women threatens to reverse decades of progress to gender equality. Hence, it has become all the more important to convene conferences and summits such as these, capturing the power of the collective and diversity. Without diversity, we do not have productive conflict, and without productive conflict, we cannot have better solutions. Gender equality is a top priority, not only because equality between men and women is itself an important development goal, but also because women's economic participation is a part of the growth and stability equation. The Women's Leadership Summit brings to you 2 most productive days of interesting and stimulating discussions with catalytic experience of rich learning and new ideas, fresh perspective and inspiring stories from leading experts spanning a wide range of fields and backgrounds. It is a reality and an important aspect to acknowledge that the dialogue of equality and progress cannot happen without engaging men to be on our side. Every human being, man and women, need to be mobilized for an inclusive world. Let us work together to usher in an equal world. Let us together open the doors for conversation and creative collaboration. Let this summit inspire us all. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the 2023 Women's Summit Empowered for Change. Lastly, women are born leaders. They have the potential to bring prosperity, happiness, and joy to the world. Shri Shri Ravi Shankar. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank Chaya ma'am for the summit highlights, and I'd like to invite on stage the Country Director of Asian Development Bank, Aharnu Kosua.
Right Honorable Prime Minister of Nepal, President of the Confederation of the Nepalese Industries, the Chair of the Women Leadership Summit, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste and good morning to you all. It is an honor to be here for the Women Leadership Forum 2023. Our presence here today reflects our commitment and efforts to empower women of all backgrounds, identities, and income groups, and promote equality between genders and different social groups. The Asian Development Bank has been addressing gender equality in all its projects and programs since 1985. When it first adopted a policy on the role of women in development. Later, ADB's policies on gender and development in 1998, and its gender equality and women empowerment operational plan from 2013 to 2020 adopted a mainstreaming approach as a key strategy in promoting gender equality. In response to South Asia's realities and inspired by Nepal's pioneering role in addressing both gender equality and social inclusion, ADB South Asia Regional Department, which covers 6 member countries, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Maldives, Nepal, and Sri Lanka, has adopted in 2022 a gender equality and social inclusion, what we call GESI, framework. This framework is also to fulfill the GESI-related mandates of ADB Strategy 2030. The strategy calls for the expansion of ADB's contribution to GESI. Its first operational priority, addressing remaining poverty and reducing inequalities, increases ADB's emphasis on human development, social protection, and social inclusion to ensure that all members of the society can participate and benefit from economic development and growth. Its operation priority number 2, accelerating progress in gender equality, requires that at least 75% of ADB committed sovereign and non-sovereign operation contributes to gender equality by 2030 along 5 pillars: The first pillar is about women economic empowerment. The second is about gender equality in human development. The third one is about gender equality in decision-making and leadership. The fourth one is about reduce women's time in poverty. And the fifth one is about women resilience to external shocks. Let me highlight the systematic efforts made by ADB in Nepal to mainstream gender equality and social inclusion in its project and program, including policy reform, which resulted in 2002 in the adoption of the Gender Equality Act here in Nepal. ADB recognized the importance of women in leadership, especially in business and public life. A number of our ADB-supported projects of the government of Nepal have explicitly supported women in businesses. The Rural Enterprise Financing Project, which was approved in 2020, addressed women empowerment by narrowing gender disparities through access to financial resources and opportunities. The project is designed to finance, with a maximum loan of 5 million rupees, about 500 individual entrepreneurs, including startups, of which at least 30% must be women. This is anticipated to strengthen women entrepreneurs' capacity by extending value chain development, business facilitation, entrepreneurship development training, as well as marketing and other business support for women entrepreneurs. The Raising Income of Small and Medium Farmers project, which was completed in 2018, addressed institutional, cultural, and structural barriers to women's and disadvantaged groups involved in agriculture. It facilitated their inclusion in farmer groups and cooperatives, promoted women-owned agro-enterprises, provided business development services and training, and created awareness on their needs. The projects enabled disadvantaged and marginalized women farmers in Nepal to gain access to economic opportunities, representation in farmer groups and cooperatives, and recognition of women leader farmers as social resource persons. It also increased women representation in mixed farmer groups and cooperatives and in social mobilization teams. These are just two examples of many other projects financed by ADB, but also financed by other development partners, and of course by the government of Nepal themselves. These highlight the importance of identifying and addressing the structural constraints of women and people from disadvantaged groups due to discriminatory gender and social norms, mindset, and unfriendly policy and institutional framework. This is true, not only in Nepal, but for women across the region. Social norms and customary practices prescribe how much capital, time, and autonomy a woman will be able to devote to entrepreneurial activities. Social norms prioritizing family and community interest over individual advancement adversely impact women entrepreneurship. In South Asia, for example, it is common for women to stop undertaking paid work upon marriage. Complicated procedure, rigid formalities and requirement, high cost of credit and flexible repayment condition, and stagnant credit delivery system made more severe due to the pandemic, create further constraints in access to finance for women. Additionally, there is a lack of intersectional analysis about the status, the opportunities, and challenges experienced by different groups of women entrepreneurs, including women with disabilities, women who are gender diverse and transgender, and women of different castes, ethnicities, age groups, and religions. Any one of these social identities can have a major influence on a woman's ability to start and grow her own business. The global pandemic of COVID-19 and the recent financial instability in the region have brought significant challenges to the businesses and small and medium-sized enterprises, and women-led businesses are no exceptions. Studies suggest that women-led businesses and women workers are disproportionately impacted by the COVID-19 compared to business led by men and men workers. This is largely to do with gender-specific barriers, often deep-rooted in social and cultural norms, limiting women access to different systems. Even before COVID-19 pandemic, barely 18% of South Asian businesses were principally owned by women, the lowest rate among global region. The pandemic has propelled women entrepreneurs into the digital economy, which has allowed them to reach across national boundaries, to establish partnership and target new customers, overcoming travel and trade restriction. We also have to learn from such initiatives, which are addressing different barriers and practice, demonstrating the potential of women in entrepreneurship to create jobs and boost productivity globally. More programs are being created to support aspiring gender-specific laws and strategies, mainstreaming gender concern into broader statutes and regulations, and implementing priority services and resources targeted for women entrepreneurs. Regional knowledge sharing, like this summit, especially related to inclusive labor force policies, more relevant now in the post-COVID-19 scenario, is required to deal with common challenge in South Asia. During the 2 days of this Women Leadership Summit 23, organized by the CNI, the panel will discuss challenges that inhibit women to lead and share stories of their successes across sectors, such as politics, business, media, or even entertainment. The panels representing women entrepreneurs from the province and from South Asia will present pictures of women-led businesses at national and regional level. I am confident that this summit will further build on the progress already made by countless strong women. The Asian Development Bank is committed to collaborate with all the stakeholders to further promote and empower women leadership. In closing, I would like to congratulate the CNI for taking the lead in organizing the first ever Women Leadership Summit in Nepal. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kushwa. Moving ahead, I'd like to go ahead and invite on the dais former Minister of Railways, Government of India, Honorable Suresh Prabhu.
Respected Honorable Prime Minister of Nepal, whom not only the people of Nepal but even people in India and many other places lovingly, respectfully call him Prachanda. So thank you for being here to guide us, bless us, and direct the future course of action for the women movement of Nepal. My dear friend and Honorable Member of Parliament, the leading industrialist not just of Nepal but in several parts of the world, a visionary leader, Vinod Chaudhary ji, Vishnu ji, Chaya ji, Nirwan ji, and all other distinguished leaders, from my friend from Columbia University, ADB, and many others. So good morning to all of you. Let me first of all congratulate Chaya Sharma ji and her colleagues for putting together such a fantastic program. I think women can put up such a distinguished program like this. Why do you think they cannot build a better world? These are the people who have the capability of designing program like this, implementing it, and also putting so much of life into it. And that's what explains why women should be at the forefront. So one, congratulations to you. I'm really very happy that we are all here today. As I said in the beginning, we are privileged that Honorable Prime Minister is here because, not just because he's a Prime Minister, he led a movement for bringing in democracy in this Himalayan kingdom. And why he wanted to have a democracy? Because he felt that the most depressed class of the society, those at the bottom of the pyramid, they, unless uplifted and they are taken to the top, not really at the top as tall as Mount Everest, but taken it to a level, then only the entire transformation will happen. And to do that, the revolution succeeded. We have a democratic setup, and now women, along with rest of the population, are now playing a key role into deciding the destiny of Nepal. So I'm very happy that he's here at a time when this program is not organized, in my opinion, only for Nepalese audience. This actually is a program to decide about the future of the women of the world. Because we have seen that women are, actually speaking, for many reasons, didn't get their due share. So when I was hearing that women should be getting equality, I don't agree with that. Equality means they will get, along with the main counterparts, something as equal as what men get. They should get more. And why? There is a reason for it. If for decades, for centuries, for generations, if they didn't get what was due to them, how do you fill the backlog? So if you want equality, then first give them so much more that has been denied to them in the past, then only you can really think about equality. So first, you must concede the space which is occupied by the men. Then only they can occupy the space. If there is no space, what can you do? So unless you actually arrive at that level, then only you can really think about equality. I know we are all here to listen to some two distinguished leaders, Vinod ji as well as Honorable Prime Minister. I will not speak much, but I'll just say one point. Economic development. CNI has organized this program, which is the industry organization. Economic development worldwide, we have strategies. The World Bank, ADB, multilateral agencies, economists, they all will talk about many ideas how to hasten the process of economic development. But economic development can never happen. And even if it happens, it cannot be sustained unless there is a social development which precedes it. If there is no social development, there cannot be economic development. And a social development encompasses, presupposes that the society has to change. And changing society, how can you change society unless you change the individuals? How can you only change individuals and want to change society without transforming families? And if you want to therefore transform families, it's only one who can do it is a woman. There is no one can transform families other than the woman. So if you want transformation of family, which will lead to transformation of society, which in turn will bring about the complete transformation of the country, I think we must start with a family, and that to start with a woman. What would a woman do when she earns more? She'll spend, first priority, will to spend on the child's education. She'll not spend like we men will do on something. We try to spend more money in the evening, not in the day. So that's what a men do. But women will spend it during the broad daylight on the education of the child to bring light to the life of the family. And therefore, it is important that we must actually focus on women, and then automatically the society will change. And that was the mission of our Honorable Prime Minister, to transform society. And therefore, I am sure this can actually happen the moment you focus on these issues. We have already decided, I said I have been invited, and I love Nepal. Unfortunately, I was not born in Nepal. But I really love Nepal, and therefore I always think it's my duty, responsibility to do as much as possible. So I've been here many times. And one of the things that we have been discussing with our very close family friend Chaudhurys, as to what can we do, bring in the experience of India into helping the transformation process that we must all initiate. So we are thinking of coming out with a concept which we started doing in my Lok Sabha constituency. Parivartan Kendras, transformation center led by women. For every 5 villages, we have created a structure which can actually help women to lead from the ground, from the bottoms. And therefore, we'll try to implement that. I'm very happy that Binodji and his entire family has said they will like to make sure that we put it as an experimental project, and we'll try to take it to the national level with the blessings of Honorable Prime Minister. So I think we must really take this forward. Let me congratulate all my friends who have organized this fabulous event, and I'm sure this is the beginning of a process which will lead to women occupying the rightful place, society, country, national level, global level. And then we don't have to do anything. And my last point, suppose somebody will say, what should be the agenda for this? I think the agenda for women development should be decided by the women. That should be the first point. The problem is, we men decide what women should be doing. I was in the parliament, and when we are thinking about women reservation bill, so everybody was speaking about women reservation bill, and most of them were men like me. And therefore I said that's the problem, because we speak, but will not implement. And therefore we really want that if we want a real change, let it be left to the women. They will decide the agenda, they will drop the action, like you have prepared this fabulous program. Thank you very much. Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you so much, sir. And I'd just like to compliment Honorable Suresh Prabhu. I'd just like to quickly compliment our latest census. According to our latest census, I just wanted to throw in a gist right here. Total census is 2,91,64,578. Male population, 1,42,53,551. And our female population is 1,49,11,027. So our democracy is led by women. Just complimenting. I'd like to go ahead and invite Honorable Member of Parliament, as well as Chairman Emeritus CNI, Honorable Binod Chaudhary.
Thank you very much. Right Honorable Prime Minister Pushpa Dahal Prachandju, former Union Minister, Government of India, Dr. Suresh Prabhu, who we just heard, and a very, very dear friend. Every time I talk to you, I leave the room with a sense of great degree of inspiration and courage. A 4-time Lok Sabha elected member, and someone who transformed India's railway system, which is probably the biggest in the world. President CNI Vishnu Agarwal ji, Chaya Sharma ji, head of the Women Leadership Forum, and I wish to also recognize Varsha ji and Asha ji, who are also here in the midst of the audience, who played a significant role in building the women power within the CNI over the last 2 years, two decades. Many of the distinguished speakers, including the head of the ADB, who we just heard. Women leaders, I see many of them across various spectrum, members of parliament, our own parties, National Central Women Organization head Usha Raut ji, Kamala Tiwari ji, who comes from Parashi, my own constituency, who I'd like to recognize. I'd like to salute these women who are present here, many of them. I can go on taking names. Yankila ji, Member of Parliament, who I know for more than 3 decades, maybe probably 4. Someone who actually started the movement of women entrepreneurship in this country. My wife, you know, who I wish to salute, because she, along with Kamala ji and friends and Usha ji, actually led my election campaign in my constituency. And if it was not for them, I can assure you the result could have been different. Such is the power of women. First time in my life, I've realized, I've seen, understood, felt the role of women in many different forms, from a mother, from a sister, from my nieces. I don't have a daughter of my own. But this is the first time I saw the collective power of women during the recent election which I contested. By no means it was an easy one. And if I won, it was because of the sincere commitment, cohesive approach, and honesty, and the ability to put the whole community and the societies together. I think I'm more or less echoing what Dr. Suresh Prabhu also mentioned here. I think that is the strength of women. Nepal, I think without any sense of modesty, have to acknowledge that I think we've come a long, long way. We started off with great amount of challenges, and it was because of the many transformative political revolutions, and the last one led by Comrade Prachanda, that the marginalized part of the societies were brought up to lead the nation. While I wish to, taking this opportunity, I wish to remember, you know, some of the extraordinary, most extraordinary women of this world that the world has ever produced. Florence Nightingale, the war hero nurse. Emmeline Pankhurst, who got the women the right to vote back in 1867. And Marie Curie, who won the Nobel Prize twice back in 1903. And of course, Yusuf Malala. Malala Yusuf, who led this struggle, the crusade, so to speak, against the Taliban to continue the process of educating girls. Coming to think of Nepal, I think Nepal has not done badly. We've had a woman president recently. Our parliament was led by a woman recently, not too long ago, Unsari Gharti Magar. Our Supreme Court was led by a woman, Sushila Karki. Many of our organizations, business organizations, have been led by women. The list is long. And at the global front, too, the Walmart is led by women, which is a $62 billion company. Women has demonstrated their ability to lead in developed countries as well as in developing countries like Nepal. You'll be very interested to get some interesting statistics about where we are getting in terms of our political journey, where women are involved. According to the latest census, we have 200 members of parliament, both members of parliament in House of Representatives as well as in the provincial assemblies, which accounts for 40% of the representation, more than 33%, which is prescribed by the Constitution. 88%, according to the Asia Foundation report, 88% of the women who are active in the local development work, they are involved in some profession or the other. Only 12% are housewives. That's the nature of the transformation that is taking place. Nepal hopes to reach the number of 42% of participation of women in the national parliament. I too agree with my friend Dr. Suresh Prabhu that I think there is no need, there is no reason to draw comparison between men and women. Women are superior in many fronts. The 21st century has brought new opportunities and challenges, I wish to quote, for women leaders. To thrive in this new era, women must adopt a fresh approach to leadership that takes into account the unique social, cultural, and economic changes of the time. Here are some key aspects of a new approach to women's leadership. One is authenticity. In the past, women leaders have been expected to conform to masculine models of leadership. However, studies have shown that women are true to themselves, in other words, honest and sincere, and lead from their strength and tend to be more effective. Authenticity involves acknowledging your vulnerabilities, sharing your experiences, and being honest to your team. A great team builder, someone who can take the team along, and I've seen this, I've experienced it in my whole life. Empathy. Empathy is the critical skill for leaders, particularly in today's world where social and cultural diversity is increasing. Women leaders can leverage their natural ability to empathize with others to create a more inclusive and supportive workplace. Collaboration. Women have long been associated with collaborations and cooperation. And these skills are more important than ever in the 21st century. Resilience, the most important. The 21st century is characterized by rapid change, uncertainty, complexity in women leaders. Must be resilient in the face of the adversity and be able to adapt quickly to new situations. Resilience involves staying positive despite all the challenges and difficulties, maintaining a growth mindset and being willing to learn from failures and setbacks. Overall, a new approach to women's leadership in the 21st century requires embracing authenticity. In conclusion, There are just a few examples of many incredible women leaders in the South Asia. And I wish to talk about Sheikh Hasina. Sheikh Hasina in the recent times, in the last 15 years, has transformed Bangladesh. Arguably, Bangladesh stands today as the most developed country in South Asia, beating even India on many different fronts, not only economic, but also on the social front. So by no means, women power should be underestimated. I think we are proud in our own country. We have a great emergence of women power across all spectrum, ranging from politics to social side and business. Out of a census, according to a census that was done recently, out of 900,000 businesses that have been registered, 300,000 businesses are owned by women, which is 33% and not bad. What is missing, however, Mr. Prime Minister, is a due representation in cabinet, due representation in important positions in the government, due representation in the bureaucracy, due representation in the planning commission. We still suffer, despite all these data, we suffer with the mindset that one woman should be included to fill in the gap, to just tick the box. I think that has to go away. I think we, as much as we talk in these forums to give more than equal rights, because they are different, they are complementary, they are stronger, they are cohesive, we need to also give them that particular advantage to take the position which you and many of your predecessors, our predecessors and political leaderships who've struggled in the past have played the role to bring the women in the forefront in parliament, 40% of their participation. That needs to be reflected in the government bodies, in the real governance across all spectrum. Thank you very much, CNI and Women Forum leadership for organizing this unique and a very powerful, I can see, looking at the audience, powerful summit. I hope that this process is given continuity and the quality and the numbers of participation of the countries will continue to grow. All the best.
I'd like to thank the Honourable Member of Parliament. And moving forward, this morning we'll be presenting two awards. We'll be honouring two awards today, to be precise. Inspiring women who have made an impact and changed our society for the better, empowering and educating the future as well as the current generation. The change makers, the impact creators, we are honouring them today. I'd like to request to do the honours, the Right Honourable Prime Minister of Nepal, Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda, to kindly join us on stage. I'd also like to go ahead and request Chairwoman Leadership Forum Chaya Sharma, as well as President of CNI Vishnu Agrawal, as well as the founder of Women Leadership Summit, Nirvana Chowdhury, to kindly escort the Prime Minister and join us on stage to kindly do the honours. At this moment, I'd like to go ahead and direct the audience's attention towards the screens. We have a video presentation.
The title of the book is Between the Mountain and the Sky. It's a journey about motherhood, about Nepal, about grief and loss and love. When I was 19, I was traveling in Nepal and I came across a dry riverbed running through the valley. I looked up and just saw dozens and dozens of children breaking rocks. It was just a moment for me where I started to question my own upbringing, how I could give back and what my role is, and and just how we can do better as a human family, how we can make this world a better, more equal place for every single child. There was this one little girl named Hema, and she looked up at me and smiled with this big, beautiful smile, and she said, "Namaste, Didi." And for me, that was a really powerful moment where I was just like, maybe I can't do everything for every single child I've met and for 1 million orphan children, but maybe Hema's life could change by putting her into school. After that, I thought, okay, well, why not another one and another? And then it became 5 kids and then 10 kids, and we started to grow that way. And then the story just evolved. Tope and I connect. And together with local people, we built a community organization. We started building the Blink Now Foundation, which gives every single child a chance to really thrive and grow through education, through nutrition, through love and support. I was raising children in Nepal from a very young age, and I just started keeping a journal and writing down stories and writing down these little moments.
It's like little things, you know, that...
And as the kids started to get older, I noticed that they would start to tell stories about the early beginnings of the home and the school and our family, and that kind of sparked the idea of putting all of this together in a book. What I want readers to take away from the story is the power and the beauty of children, and that our world will become a better, more peaceful, thriving world when every child has a chance at a happy childhood, at their most basic human needs and rights.
Please welcome Maggie Doyne. Maggie Doyne has dedicated the last 15 years to educating children and empowering women. She created the Blink Now Foundation to sustain, grow, and support Kopila Valley Children's Home and School in Nepal. Please put your hands together one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Like I mentioned earlier, we are moving ahead, and we have 2 awards today. We're honoring 2 awardees today, so I'd like to again divert your attention towards the screen one more time.
I like to get things done, and to get things done you need drive. For that reason, my core value is drive. In Nepal, when I look outside my family, usually females are restricted from a lot of different opportunities, such as access to finance, to grow their business, or just to get educated even, and that I don't approve.
I met Sonika in Singularity University. She's like this kick-ass female engineer.
I realized that there is always a connection of technology with any of the problems of the society. My vision is to see more women empowered to run their own electric vehicles. I had this background of public transportation and financial technology. Tiffany had this background measuring impact of financing. So we used all 3 expertise to start this startup. That's how Green Energy Mobility started. If you look around, you see a lot of problems. I mean, Kathmandu is very much safe, but still there are a lot of cases of sexual violence for women. That is where the fear comes from. If today I'm here until 8, I don't know how to go back home because I don't want to ride back home in 2-wheelers with a stranger.
As you can see, the city roads are very busy, always something happening.
We are the highest growing carbon emission per capita in South Asia.
The air quality is degrading every day.
We need more adopters of electric vehicles. If we take a step back from that, why they're not adopting electric vehicles. In Nepal, things like credit ratings, it's not a thing. I mean, I don't have a credit rating. Just think about people who have lower income. They would never be able to access finance from any formal institution. All of these problems are interconnected. And this is where GEM, Green Energy Mobility, comes in to do something good for public transportation. We are starting with getting the affordable finances for women drivers by giving credit rating options for everyone. And for the financial institution, they now know where the money is going.
You can see that she really cares about the women entrepreneurs that we bring onto our program and to test and pilot our technology. She really cares about them.
We're right now with one of our women drivers. Her name is Sachita. I'm really excited because GEM is going to change their life. With this platform, it's all digital, so they know how much they are earning now. And for the environment, the air quality is better with no carbon emissions. When I see the future, I envision people breathing cleaner air. And because of that, people will be healthier and happier.
Dare to ride the future. Dare to go fossil fuel free.
Please help me welcome Sonika Manandhar. Computer engineer turned impact entrepreneur, Sonika Manandhar. Thank you, congratulations as well as Maggie and Sonika, as well as along with that, I'd like to thank Nirvan sir, Vishnu sir, as well as Chaya ma'am. Thank you very much, and I'd like to go ahead and request the Right Honorable Prime Minister. I'd like to welcome him to the dais.
Thank you very much. Very good morning to everybody and namaste to everybody. Honorable Binod Chaudhary, Member of Parliament and one of my dear friend. Honorable Suresh Prabhu, former Minister of Railways, Government of India. He is not only a former Railway Minister, but he is one of my best friends in India. Thank you very much for your very comprehensive and inspiring speech you just made. Chaya Sharma, Chair of CNI World Women Leadership Forum, for taking this initiative. It is really very important and fantastic. Thank you very much. Jiena Jalad, international lawyer and human rights scholar, all the distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to deliver short remarks in this inaugural ceremony of Women's Leadership Summit 2023. I am confident that the two-day summit will be crucial in exchanging ideas, sharing strategies, and celebrating achievements. Issue of gender equality and access of women in all sectors of society and the state deserve priority, and I am happy to note that this summit is all about it. I would like to take this opportunity to appreciate and thank the team of Women's Leadership Forum for their contribution in inspiring greater participation of women in corporate sector, workforce, and national economy since its establishment. I would like to share with you that the government of Nepal is committed to focusing on programs that helps enable women's leadership and promote greater economic participation through allocation of sufficient budget and resources. It is of utmost importance that women take one more leadership role in different sectors, from politics to business, healthcare to education, climate change to public service and governance. When we have more women in leadership position, we will be able to create an equal and just society. The state needs to seriously examine whether the level of investment in women and girls is adequate. Women's power is the power of creation. It is the foundation of creativity, culture, and solidarity. Investment in girls and women should be seen as an investment for the future, for development and prosperity, for a just, peaceful, and inclusive society. Our country has very capable women, and it is important that we all work to strengthen women's political participation and decision-making power. As our Binod Chaudhary has just mentioned about the representation in the cabinet and other decision-making institution, I am trying my best to create that atmosphere. I want to be confident. It is true that women's enhanced participation in politics and policy helps drive change. Their role is critical in transforming society in many ways. We are committed to ensure greater female representation in key positions in overall governance structure in the country. As has already been mentioned, that our constitution has guaranteed minimum 33% of women's participation in federal and provincial parliament. Today, women's representation is more than 41% at local level. Our achievement in this field stands tall and could serve as an encouraging example for other countries. Beyond political domain, we are committed to empowering women economically, socially, and culturally. Access of women to productive resource, credit, technology, and market will bring transformative outcome in their lifestyle. I wish to take this opportunity to encourage more women to work toward taking on leadership role, not just when it is offered to them, but to demand for it with full confidence, exhibiting their capabilities. As Prime Minister and someone who believes in equality for all genders and diversity, although there are so many political ups and downs and twists and turns of the process that is emerging here in Nepal, to have creating the atmosphere of Federal Democratic Republic, I feel proud that I led the movement to empower women, and today this is really encouraging. I am committed to creating an enabling environment that will allow women to take more leadership positions. As Binodji mentioned that, I also feel proud the President, Speaker of the Parliament, and Chief Justice all were women. It is just like a coincidence, but not exactly the coincidence. I have the opportunity to lead all these processes to create that atmosphere. We will continue working toward ensuring that the key reforms that support better quality of women. It is of my view that meaningful, inclusive, sustainable development and economic growth cannot be achieved in a situation where inequality persists. I would like to congratulate the Confederation of Nepalese Industry, CNI, Women's Leadership Forum for organizing this timely summit. This platform provides opportunities for sharing concrete ideas and informed views on further empowering women. Our common efforts will bring a desired outcome in changing the overall standing of women in society. Finally, I wish the Women Leadership Summit 2023 a grand success and look forward to receiving its declaration at the end of the summit. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We would like to thank the Right Honourable Prime Minister for his time and for his presence. I'd like to invite on stage for our keynote speech, international lawyer, Dr. Zaina Jalad.
Good morning, everyone. Respected Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Mr. Suresh Prabhu, Honorable Dr. Benoit, Chairman Emeritus of CNI, distinguished guests, and friends in the audience. It's an enormous pleasure to join you today at this distinguished and unprecedented event of the Women's Leadership Summit. This historical moment represents a valuable opportunity for us all to come together and exchange ideas about how to achieve our goals of social equality, gender parity, and women's leadership in our post-COVID world. Today marks a momentous call to action to our leaders for both celebrating and helping to advance our fight for the visibility of female leaders in both the private and public spheres. We have much to celebrate in light of the social, economic, cultural, political achievements of women, and even more to advance. I say these words of hope from a place of familiarity, both with the disappointment of setbacks and with joy in hard-won successes. As a Palestinian woman who has spent her life working for justice in the Arab region, I am from a place filled with hope, generosity, hospitality, steadfastness, resilience, and determination. A region that is filled with paradoxes and contradictions. And we are meetings for anger and compassion, beginnings and ends, subjugation and heroism, alienation and reconciliation become possible. This is why I speak from the heart when I tell you that the compounding crisis of our post-pandemic world must be heeded by the brightest and best-minded women we're blessed to join here together in this room. There is work to be done. As Chair Sharma this morning and Mr. Arnaud mentioned, there's work to be done. And according to the Global Gender Gap Report of 2022, gender parity is not recovering. It will take another 132 years to close the global gender gap. Perhaps now, more than ever, we need a new social contract, an honest pact centered around the equal economic, social, political, and cultural participation of not only women, but all members of the society to build tomorrow better. Hope is also seen in the international sphere, where the resolutions passed would continue to serve as torch to light the movement's path to better tomorrow. Just recently, we've heard in Palestine and in Lebanon, they've developed and submitted the national action plans to implement UN Resolution 1325 on women, peace, and security. The resolution has encouraged women to be perceived as active players in negotiations and peace-building processes rather than victims. This major step forward for female empowerment led these countries to adopt, similarly to their peers in Nepal, a transformative gender-focused approach to governance reform and marks a significant step forward in a female-run future. Even outside of the Middle East, where I come from, we can be inspired by female leaders of today. It's worth taking a look at the successes of our fellow advocates in Nepal, who have committed to shattering gender barriers through their everyday life and work. Nepalese women have exemplified the successes we could achieve if we come together to architect gender-responsive leadership in both bottom-up and top-down avenues. We've seen several real-life examples and what have been shared this morning from these communities that pave the way for future solutions to encourage women leadership. Similar examples of women leaders' transformative actions in North Africa, East Asia, and the Global South. As a Middle Eastern woman, legal scholar, and lawyer myself, I'm so proud to see more women than ever taking up positions of power in academia as well as politics. I continue to remind myself, as I do now to you today, that women in leadership is not indeed about achieving an optical balance with men. I believe we are here to remember and insist on the value of the underused resources women have to offer, as role models, examples of successes that will redefine the meaning of leadership for a female-facing future. Valuing women in leadership means we value the full breadth and depth of female talent available to equip the public domain with diverse strengths and viewpoints unique to us. As a result of the struggles we have overcome and character we have built, women are the leaders we need in today's complex, potential-filled world. The story of women as change agents is very compelling. Often they were not noted or remembered. It is a story of women who have left their mark on the global governance, democracy, development, and peace. The pandemic era has shown us the power of innovation, adaptation, and unity in collaborating to overcome global issues. We must remember that women issues themselves are global issues. It's not, if not the global issue, that requires the collaboration and unification of international communities to succeed. Today, in the digital age, we are more connected than ever, and through digital spaces, there is a real opportunity for women to come together, to continue mobilizing for social, economic development and innovation, entrepreneurship to catalyze social and climate justice. The possibilities for change are endless. I congratulate you again on this very historical moment of coming together in the first Leadership Summit. Myself and others have reminded you the answer to the question, why does it matter? I now leave you with the invitation to ask yourselves the question of, what can I do? Just look around the wealth of this room and all the resources that are available of brilliant minds and inspired ideas. What an amazing difference we can make if we can all come together and think of what we can create as a change. I thank each and every one of you for taking the time to be here today, and I look forward to the coming 2 days of deliberations and outcome. Thank you, shukran, namaste.
Thank you very much, Zainab ma'am, for the keynote speech. I'd like to go ahead and share everybody that for the morning session, we're almost towards the end. I'd like to welcome for the closing remarks, member of Women Leadership Forum, CNI, Ashrata Karki Chowdhury.
Right Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Suresh Prabhu, Honorable Dr. Binod Chaudhary, Mr. Arnod Kochwa, Ms. Zaina Jallad, distinguished guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor and privilege to have the opportunity to bring together such a diverse and accomplished group of individuals to the CNI Women's Leadership Summit 2023 with the theme Empowered for Change and Change We Must. The road to gender equality and inclusion remains a long and ever-shifting journey. The influential voices that we have heard today and will be hearing over these 2 days give us hope that we can find better solutions to accelerate progress in gender equality and equity. As we come to the end of the inaugural session of this summit, I, on behalf of CNI President Mr. Vishnu Agarwal, Coordinating Vice President Mr. Nirvana Chaudhary, WLF Chair Ms. Chaya Sharma, and all the board members of CNI Women Leadership Forum would like to express our gratitude to our esteemed chief guest, Right Honorable Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachanda, for making time to join us and share his insights on women's leadership. His presence and support at this inaugural session has set the tone for the event and demonstrates the importance that our government places on empowering and promoting women's leadership. I would also like to express our appreciation to our distinguished speakers, former Minister, Government of India, Honorable Dr. Suresh Prabhu, President Emeritus of CNI, Honorable Dr. Binod Chaudhary, Mr. Arnold Kochwa, Country Director of Asian Development Bank, Nepal, thank you. It was a huge inspiration to have amidst us our keynote speaker, Ms. Zaina Jallad. Thank you for the work you do in making this world a better place and advocating passionately for women empowerment. Sharing our collaborative vision are our partners, sponsors, and co-sponsors with whose generous support we have been able to host this esteemed summit. A special thanks goes to the Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Supply, the Asian Development Bank, the World Bank, USAID and Tayar Nepal, the Asia Foundation, Heifer International, World Wildlife Fund, Nepal Tourism Board, Nabil Bank, Morang Auto Works, CG Net, Daraz Nepal, Bottlers Nepal, Lakshmi Bank, Business 360, RMC Foods, Nepal College of Tourism and Travel Management. As we end this inaugural session, I would like to urge us all to continue the important work of promoting women's leadership, fostering gender equality, and creating inclusive environments. To the panel speakers over the next 2 days, please know that your leadership and accomplishments are an inspiration to us all. We hope to use the knowledge and insights gained from this platform to create meaningful change in our communities, organizations, countries, and the region. CNI Women Leadership Forum pledges to work together to educate, enable, and empower women. Let us create a more equitable and just society where women have equal opportunities to succeed and lead. Once again, I confer our heartfelt thanks to the Right Honorable Prime Minister, our distinguished speakers, and each one of you who has contributed in one way or another to the CNI Women's Leadership Summit. Namaste and thank you.
With this, ladies and gentlemen, we've come towards the end of the inauguration of the Women's Leadership Summit. I would like to thank the Right Honourable Prime Minister as well as our distinguished guests, our delegates. Thank you very much. And I'd also like to go ahead and request you to kindly visit the marketplace, Make in Nepal Swadeshi. Thank you very much and join us post-lunch. Thank you very much.